What on earth is going on in the House of Commons this week? I feel that we have had quite a lot of British drama going on, and I am really happy to see it because this week we have Brittany Miller, who has finally admitted to, in fact, faking stage 4 cancer.
I never wanted to talk about this time in my life because it was a very difficult time for me, but I owe it to my followers and people that support me to tell you my truth.
I did in fact touch upon this 2 or 3 years ago, can't remember when it was, when the allegations, the news, the gossip started being spread at the very beginning. It has then taken this long for her to then come out and finally admit to doing it. Now, with this video, because of course I'm very much aware that this could be divisive, because Brittany Miller is a TikToker with over 3 million followers, and she has a lot of fans, an extremely dedicated audience. I'm not comparing the two, but how Molly May has an audience that will ride or die for her, fight to the very end. Brittany Miller, kind of similar. I'm going to present everything that I know about this situation with the receipts and the text messages and all of this, all the good stuff. And then we're then going to go and we're going to listen to what she has to say, because a lot of people had no idea that this was even a thing. A lot of people hadn't even heard of her, and this is their introduction to her, or B, knew of Brittany Miller, may have even followed her, may have even been a huge supporter, but had never heard of this before, because for the past few years, people have been commenting, wanting her to speak up about it, but she has been blocking and deleting anyone who tries. I believe she's put a load of censored wording in her TikTok comments, so it's been quite difficult for people to talk about it. It was only until the Sun newspaper came out with a big headline earlier on this week that she was then kind of backed into a corner to then say something. But just so you know, this has been discussed relentlessly within the Brittany Miller verse for a few years now. So who is Brittany Miller? So Brittany Miller is now a mummy influencer. She has over 3 million followers, has twin boys, and her partner is called Ash. And I don't know if Ash works or not, but I believe he has his own channel as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is also what he does, but people can correct me if I'm wrong. Before she did that, she was very much just like a very typical TikTok influencer. She would show us what she was wearing. She would show us what she does in the day. She would show us her food.
It's that time of year and this is how you make the most unreal roast potatoes. So go and get your favourite potatoes. It doesn't matter too much what potato you use, as long as it's just a good quality one.
I'm not going to try and do the accent, but she says unreal a lot when she's plating up her jacket potatoes. She skyrocketed to popularity. She was then pregnant. She was documenting. She then had a new audience come in, and from pretty much since she got pregnant to now, she has been a very notable mummy influencer.
I want you guys to feel seen, and I don't want you to think that like being a mum is like glamorous and I find it easy, because I don't. I feel like it's like the hardest thing I've ever done in my whole life.
She does receive her fair share of criticism, just people trying to give their 2 cents on what she's doing with her kids and all of this and that. I'm not going to comment on it. I don't like seeing kids that heavily featured on social media anyway, so I'm not going to be commenting too much of it, but I will say she does show her kids and their stages and what they're doing a hell of a lot. I'm moving past that. So what happened? So around 2 to 3 years ago, it came to TikTok's attention through ex-best friends of Britney that she had lied when she was 21 years old. She had lied about having stage 4, I think it was gastric cancer. Now, there's quite a lot of receipts to this. I believe there was one really close ex-best friend called Beth. They would then go on to release text messages that they'd had with Britney, also proof of GoFundMes that were created. Would also release evidence of the fact that Britney would steal from them and had been caught out and then confronted about it. Also a lot of text messages where Britney would guilt trip her friends to hang around with them and, you know, don't go out without her and all of that, because she had this stage 4 cancer. It got to a point where she was actually prosecuted and it went to the court. There was a GoFundMe that was created, and this is an email that I've managed to get hold of, but I have also seen the GoFundMe main page floating around as well. I believe I used it in my last video. This is an email from Brittany Miller sending it to someone else, and she says, "Hello, we are raising £200 to help financially support my friend Brittany fight gastric cancer. Please donate to my Just Giving crowdfunding page and help make it happen. Thanks for your support." I believe this came from Beth, and she left a little caption saying, "She told me her sister set this page up and asked me to send it to people that were close to her. It was in fact Brittany that set it up." So keep that in mind. We're gonna move on to the next bit. When everything came to a head and Brittany was actually prosecuted, she was charged for lying and setting up this GoFundMe under the guise that she did have stage 4 cancer. This was sent from, I believe, an attorney or someone within the justice system, where they said, "Today Brittany was interviewed about the offence and she admitted that she did not have cancer and she never has done. She admitted that she set up the Just Giving page knowing full well what she was doing. I'm now in process of preparing a file which will then be reviewed by our evidential review officers, and my hope is that Brittany will either receive a charge to court or a caution, but in both circumstances I expect you will receive compensation of the full amount that you donated to her. This process may take a few weeks, so I will continue to update you via email as when I have more updates for you." This was an email from someone who was within the justice system, who was then sending it out to one of the people that did in fact donate. Yes, it would appear that Brittany did in fact set up the GoFundMe, so keep that one in mind. So this was a letter from the criminal justice system. I am writing to let you know what has happened in the above case. At a previous hearing, Brittany Miller pleaded guilty to the following charges: fraud by false representation. The defendant has been given a conditional discharge for 12 months. This is the criminal record and it is designed to serve as an incentive to prevent reoffending. They had to pay compensation and to pay costs of $85 to the Crown Prosecution Service. Unsure as to what exactly led everyone to then realise that she was in fact faking it. I don't know if she came clean. I don't know if maybe her family intervened and stepped in. That bit was never made 100% clear. And what a lot of people at the time, when this all came out initially, was people were having an issue with the fact that she was targeting one particular friend to try and guilt trip them. Now, the time span that this went on for is kind of a little bit unknown. At least I'm not entirely aware of how long this went on for, but it definitely went on for longer than a month. You can see that through text messages that Brittany would send her best friend. It looks like Brittany was trying to pressure her friend into spending time with her. But yeah, Brittany would say things like, "I'm either at radiotherapy, sleeping at home with mum, on my back, or at Didcot. I haven't been with Mike past 2 nights. I came over this morning because he's off," which I assume is actually her ex-partner. "Didn't go out last night because I felt too ill in the end. Don't you just wish Blockbuster still existed? That Girls Trip DVD is out now. Can we go Brewers Fayre for breakfast tomorrow morning? It's a buffet, it's good." Her friend then says, "Hey, sorry I was very drunk last night. How are you? How was Christmas?" Brittany says, "So you actually won't come out tomorrow? I've had a shit Christmas, had a radiotherapy on Boxing Day and Christmas Eve, plus yesterday. You won't come out New Year's. I would have thought the least you'd do is come out with me tomorrow." Then persists, "I'm ill at the moment and throughout the week I'm on my own, and a few evenings I have company, from 7 that is. I always ask what you're doing on the weekend and you're always busy. I'm so bored all the time. I just would have thought at a time like this you'd prioritize me rather than having plans 3 weekends in a row. You crack on. Me and Mike are not together, so we don't have set days, and I never know when I'm in hospital having reviews or injections." Now, of course, none of this is true. She did not have cancer. She was not going to radiotherapy. She was not getting injections. None of this. This same friend does claim that Brittany not only would, guilt trip her and trying to spend time with her, was not only lying about having cancer, but was also caught stealing from her as well. She does make a point saying, "When I realised she had been stealing from me, I tried to end the friendship. She would send me messages that she was alone, in pain, and in hospital having her operation to get her tumour removed. It was all a lie." And the part about her stealing the money out of the card, it is all relevant to this, because when she got caught out stealing from my grandma at my 21st birthday, she still led me to believe that she had cancer. So she did something bad, and then she was using her cancer as an excuse to to rewrite wrongs. She said, "Do you need to tell me something, Brittany?" Brittany goes, "Huh?" She says, "You ripped open the pink card inside the Sainsbury's bag." Brittany said, "That is not like me to do anything like that. I was very drunk and I'm on strong medication to take pain away, so it makes me even worse. I don't recall taking anything from you. You're my best friend, and that's so embarrassing and hurtful and very out of character. It's hard for me to even explain or justify or anything because that is vile. I don't think straight at times at the moment, and I have these moments where I don't think at all or even remember. If that is the case, then I apologise from the bottom of my heart." My friend said, "I have been your best friend and a huge supporter throughout this whole process. I've transferred you money in the past and have helped out where I can. I went out and made a huge hamper up for you when I thought my best friend was going to die. How could there be so many people there on Saturday and the one person that could do that to me is you after everything? You have broken my heart. This is my grandma who prays for you. What the F are you doing? If you needed money, tell me. I gave you a chance to be honest yesterday. Not only did you do that, but you lied. You know that you have done this, and all I want from this is for you to tell me." And she says there is so much more to this and so many more lies. So many people have been affected by her with similar lies she has made throughout her life. This didn't start or end when we were 21. And as I was scrolling through TikTok, there was another message as well. "Hey Brittany, really saddened to hear your news. You're a fighter, and like everybody who knows you, we know you will beat this. I hope that the little that I have donated will help ease the financial burden. I will be thinking of you. Please keep me updated on how you are doing." She said, "Hope you are well. Thank you so much for the message and the money. I really appreciate it, and it's really kind of you. I'm doing okay. I'm a tough cookie, and I just get on with it. I will let you know what is going on, etc. Thanks, Brittany. We'll be thinking of you. Speak soon. Take care." It was the 9th of December 2017. So this is when she was 21. Obviously, those were all the messages, apart from the one I just read out, from her ex-best friend, who fully believed that Brittany was going to die. Make up hampers for her, would give her money, was helping her with this GoFundMe. According to legal documents, according to emails from the legal teams, it seems like Brittany did in fact confess to setting up this GoFundMe. So that's just what we got. That's what we got. And that's all we had for about, for the past 3 years. You have to remember that whenever anyone would come to her page, she would block and delete comments. I've seen so many people who have tried to leave heartfelt comments to her, have tried to do, say, I know someone, I have, I've suffered from cancer, my friend has suffered from cancer, my grandma, my granddad, try and lean on an empathetic ear and just be like, please, can you say something? And they would get blocked and deleted. So obviously this underground bubble of rage has been building for a little while. It hasn't come out of absolutely nowhere. Due to the other day when The Sun released a headline, I'm assuming that someone must have gone and sent them like all this information again for them to cover it. And I think that because Brittany now has over 3 million followers, newspaper they're going to want to take a little bit more of a closer look, because obviously she is an influencer now. She is a notable name.
That is stunning. I'm sorry, but that is unreal.
And she did in fact come out with an apology video, and that is the apology video that you have seen. Now, people have very, 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 very divided opinions on this. If you go onto her page and you read the comments, there are a lot of people who are very much in support of her and saying, you were 21 years old. We've all said dumb things that we live to regret. Some people are saying, comparing it to a white lie, which I wouldn't put it to that. Actually, if you've gone through those text messages, you know that this was not a one-off thing. You know that this was this was relentless. This was her, pressuring her best friend into spending a lot of time with her, really telling her best friend that she's dying, amongst other people. I wouldn't count it as a white lie. This is not something that was off the cuff. But either way, I will play to you her video, and we will talk about it after.
So I never wanted to talk about this time in my life because it was a very difficult time for me. But I owe it to my followers and people that support me to tell you my truth. I also want to put a stop to the people that are twisting and exaggerating what actually happened. So I'm just going to go from the beginning. Back in 2017, I had extremely bad mental health. And at the time I didn't realise how bad. But it was bad. I was depressed, I was suicidal, I was lost, I was confused. I lost my partner, I lost my job. And there was lots of things in that year that led me to be mentally ill. I said something to someone within my immediate circle in confidence. One stupid sentence that I deeply regret. I said I had an illness, which was cancer. I didn't do this for malicious intent or to scam people. I did this out of desperation. I did it to keep the people close to me, to keep the people in my life close to me. I condone it. I understand why I did it. And I've learned from my mistakes. This was not a long-running scam or a manipulative story like it's been made out to be. The people that I told then told a couple of others, and there was a fundraising page made on behalf of me, which I knew about. As soon as I saw there was donations, there was 2 donations, I had the page immediately shut down and I didn't take a penny from it. I've grown from this. I am working on being the best version of myself. It took me a long time to understand why I did it. And I forgive myself. I was mentally ill. And I am so deeply sorry to anyone that I've upset or triggered from saying what I said. I wasn't on social media at the time. This was years before I was even on social media. I didn't do this for likes or followers. I know how horrible this disease is, and I know how much it affects people. So for that, I am so sorry. I admitted what I did, and I said sorry to the people that I hurt. After it all happened, a year later, I moved away from my hometown because I wanted to work on myself. I wanted to be better. I wanted to be mentally well again. I wanted to surround myself with people that were gonna help me. And I got a job with a fundraising company, and that's how I met Ash. I was able to work for charities, and me and Ash fundraised together for a short period of time. Him and his family helped me so much, and I'll forever be grateful. He helped me be well again. He helped me forgive myself. And although I am so emotional when I talk about this, I am mentally well again. And I'm so proud of where I've come, from being in that dark place to now. And I'm here because I want to be an advocate for mental health. I want to help people because I know what it's like to be in a dark place. And I want to help people. Also just want to say a massive thank you to all the people out there that support me.
The first thing that does stand out to me is the why now. And I'm not saying that no one can have a past. I definitely have said and done things that I live to regret, and I know a lot of people have done as well. And I don't feel that if she was convicted of it and she said sorry to the people affected, even though I feel like if she had have said sorry to the people affected, then they probably wouldn't have come to social media, but I don't really know. There's that thing where it's like, she's gone through that, she's a different person, she's a mum now, which is all very, very well and good and saying, but there is one thing that does strike me, with her saying that she just told one person and that she did not set up this GoFundMe. Now, according to what we have seen with the legal documents, unless that person from the legal team is lying, then that can't be true. And even her ex-best friend is saying, Brittany said that her sister set it up, but actually it was her. Also, the fact that she was taken to court over this GoFundMe. I do agree that she is only saying sorry now because it's got brought up on a massive scale and she was in the news, and there's no hiding from it now. I feel that she would have to address it because when people were discussing it a couple of years ago, she was able to silence them, block accounts, delete accounts. She was able to get rid of it, but now she can't delete a newspaper article. It's kind of up there. She has to address it. I don't personally believe she ever would have addressed it had the Sun not have said anything. Now, the mental health aspect from it, I fully empathize with anyone who goes through shitty bouts of mental health. I have personally ended up in the hospital after overdosing on pills for trying to take my own life, and that was when I was 17, 18. So I'm fully aware of how bad mental health can get. I think that yes, there always needs to be a broader discussion on this topic, like how am I supposed to know what's going on inside your head? You don't. Some people deal with mental illness by acting out and doing things that they wouldn't normally say or do. I fully appreciate that. The problem that I have with it is the fact that she's saying that she has learned and grown and become a different person. However, there is no way on earth she would ever have brought this up unless it reached unless it reached newspaper standards. I feel that in order to kind of grow as a person, you need to really accept that that is who you were, and you should have acknowledged any of these things and made a video about it a couple of years ago. I really do feel like every part of your story in your life shapes you into who you are today. And if you've done something shit and someone calls you out on it, you own up to it as soon as you hear about it. You don't just shove it down and hope that it won't reach a bigger audience. What's now gone on to happen is that I saw a comment, because literally the next video over, people are already saying, why are people bringing us up? Why are people so angry? Why da 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 da? Someone's saying, seriously, what do the people commenting hate even get from it? They achieve nothing. And Brittany says, it makes them feel better about themselves. Bless them. And, as someone who doesn't really follow her content or care, I don't care enough to comment. I mean, I care enough to make a video on it, but I don't care enough to sit there and type out and all of this kind of stuff. Like in my spare time, I'm not here in the comment section fighting amongst people, Britney fans. I'm not doing that. But I just feel like that one comment is really going to retract from that whole video that she just made about, being sorry. And I think in order to really be sorry, you need to be able to understand that people are still going to be upset with you. Just because you've moved on doesn't mean that people who are just finding out this information are going to move on, because like she says, it's taken her years to be able to become a different person. But some of these people are just finding out this information now, who are just seeing the receipts now, who are just coming across this drama now. So you can't expect them within a couple of days to just have the veil sort of lifted on who you thought you were watching and then expect them to be like, oh, okay, on to the next video, because it's not going to work like that. It's going to take time for some people to want to go back to your channel. You are still going to have people that are going to be very upset because they're only just finding out about this right now. So her then typing, and also when people say bless them, oh my god, it's just I can hear her say it. I can hear it in her voice. It's like the most patronizing, sarcastic, like, oh, bless them. I hate it when people say that. It's like one of my it's one of my pet peeves of the English language, is when people say bless them in like that really patronizing way. Yeah, I'm sure now that you've gotten to this part of the video, you're probably thinking, yeah, I can understand why that would be divisive, because her fans are literally mega, mega, mega obsessed, and they don't care that this has happened. And I think there are so many different opinions. Some people are choosing to forgive and forget. Other people are like even more angry than they were. I think it was way too soon to release a video literally a day later, and she's already back shopping in Tesco's with her kids. But yeah, it. I would love to hear everyone's thoughts and feelings on this. I really honestly would, because this topic has been all over my FYP. If you didn't know about it, let me know. I would like, please, can everyone try and keep it civil? I just really would like an open discussion among the crowd on what you actually think about this. But I do feel like in these types of in these kind of topics, you're going to get a broad range of differences. I would love to hear everyone's thoughts and feelings. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I will catch up with you guys in the next video.